David. How you doing?
Fine, how you doing?
Good.
He's
Good.
my biggest supporter. Go ahead,
I'm a
talk.
cheerleader. Hey.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hey, thank you for doing that because we need people like you in our lives. So,
Yes, big time.
Yeah, well, when you're married to someone, as you know, well, you're on the other side. I'm not the one suffering, but I mean, as your wife would know, and I've seen your
mhm.
wife talk, you're very involved, with everyday living, everyday aspect of everything, making
Depression.
appointments,
Mhm.
uh, making a guess of what direction to go, which doctor to go with, and taking that chance and trying to commit to it, seeing if it's a waste of time or not, all that time, and then going there, and then coming back, getting disappointed, getting hope, and it's just a nonstop cycle, and it just
Is
keeps going on and on. And you have good days, good months, and then something happens, or she has a fall, you're in an emergency room, you don't know what's going to happen next, and it's hard. It really is. I mean,
yeah.
we have good times, and when you have good times, you have to really focus and enjoy them for that minute
Exactly.
there, because if tomorrow she's not going to feel good, it's not going to be a good time. So,
That's a
uh,
great point.
you
That
know,
really is.
you got to look at life day by day in that respect,
Sometimes hour by hour,
hour
Yeah.
by hour.
Take what you get.
Yeah,
right?
it is, and
And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you look fine." I'm like, you don't get it.
uh,
I'm not even going to stand here and explain it to you if you're not going to hear me.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
hard to navigate. You try to
I
keep positive, and you try to keep your networks open, so in case there's new information coming in, maybe it'll be useful to you or not.
Yeah.
But you always have to you gotta hope there's always something new that's coming.
Yeah.
And she's done all this research over the years, and so it's like
tons.
it plateaus after a while. She'll do, and then she's like, I gotta back off because there's just doesn't seem like much new happening right now.
Right.
But it's it's there. I mean, it's a
I've
challenge.
always I've always tried to help myself because I knew
Yeah.
the doctors weren't going to help me. Not all of them. There are great professionals out there. A lot of them they always ask me, "Do you have a card? Do you have a card?" Because they have RSDers come into the emergency room.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't tell you what happened to me last year. I did something really stupid,
Uh-oh.
and I was trying to help my husband because he works long hours. He's got two and a half jobs, and I just knew he would be too tired to do it, and I've done it before. We have air conditioning return in the ceiling, and I went up the ladder to change it.
Oh
Done it
no.
before, never had a problem.
Yeah.
And on my way down, I missed a step and I fell in between the wall and the ladder. And what wound up happening was my arm got
Oh
snagged
no.
on a nail on the way down and ripped my arm open.
Oh.
And I hit an artery and the blood was just spurting out. My daughter, I'm screaming for my daughter. She was just getting ready to leave for work.
Are you
And she's
kidding
like,
me?
"Oh my God,
Mm.
mom." And I was freaking out because I broke my back. I broke my back and three ribs.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I've
And I
seen
was so,
blood spurt out of somebody before, and it's a panicking feeling.
oh,
So
yeah, I was scared.
I
All
can't
I
imagine.
kept saying was, "Dad's gonna be mad at me. Dad's gonna be mad at me. Dad's gonna be mad
Oh
at me."
no.
Nana's
Right.
like, Nana's like, "Mom, why?" I'm like, "Cause I'm trying to help,
You could have waited.
I know, but I
Yeah.
just, we had a problem with the return because it was so dirty that my daughter and I were getting sick all the time and couldn't get
Yeah.
rid of it. So I knew it was a problem, and I just I got a picture of what it looked like. It was terrible. It was so thick with dust, it wasn't funny. But
Yeah. But
it took,
part of having RSD is knowing our limitations.
right,
Because if you
right,
don't, you're gonna get yourself in trouble.
exactly. And that's what happened to me. And what was it, like 5 years ago? I have a step stool, a small step stool that has like a U shape handle,
Mhm.
and it's small enough, and I'm small. So when I was standing up on it to get curtains out of my closet, I went down and I wound up going in the hole of the handle, and
Oh.
my body slipped in there, and both my hips hit the hinges hard.
Oh
So
no.
the next day I get up and I feel sore in my hips, right?
Yeah.
I look at my hips, they're purple and
Oh.
black. I was like, oh, they were like this big. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then
We get clumsy.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's, like we call RSD brain as well,
Mhm.
where we get a little foggy. Like we just,
Right.
unfortunately, our our sharpness isn't like it used to be.
Right. And that sucks. It
Yeah.
really sucks,
That's
because my life was great, and our lives were great as a family. And, my daughter suffers with anger, rightfully so. So what she does for a living is a really good thing for her to be in.
great outlet doing martial
Yeah,
arts. Yeah.
right. And sometimes, she can't understand, so she'll kind of like push me away. But I understand she's scared. She's scared she's going to lose me.
It's hard.
You know,
Yeah. I've lost both
it
my
is very
parents,
hard.
and it's rough and it's scary, and I feel for anyone who has to go through that, because I've already done it. It's a hard thing. And with my dad, it's been been over 5 years now, and it's hard. It's still hard to
Sure,
this day. So
absolutely. We need to have everybody we can around us.
yeah,
And when your circle gets smaller and smaller, your hope gets smaller. You know
yeah,
what I
that's very
mean?
true. That's very true, and that's a very common thing for all of us with RSD, because we lose a lot of people. A lot of people don't believe us. A lot of
Yep.
people push us away, and people wonder why we're not always, if we're in constant pain like we say we are, and if it's the highest pain on the pain scale, well then
Right.
how can we talk? How can we go do things in life? And as I
Right.
explain to people, we can't cry all the time. And
Right.
if we do, nobody is going to want to be around us. Nobody
Exactly.
wants to be around that. That's why
Right.
a lot of times when I have problems or I'm going through my thing, I don't even talk to my wife about it, because I want to keep my wife in my life. I don't want her to only know
Right. I
me
hear
as a
you.
depressed, sad,
Right.
pain, guy in pain. I want her to know
Right.
me as the man that she married still. Um,
Exactly.
and it's hard to do that, but we do.
It's
That's
very
what makes us
hard.
so strong.
It's really hard because I don't know how the two of them do it. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get so angry that because my pain is so high, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. And we know that we're not going to get the right response from the doctor. My general doctor took care of me for 40 years and retired um, a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's rough.
he was the one who saved my life, and took it upon himself because he saw the circle that they were sending me in. It was a vicious cycle,
Hmm.
and we had to make my van. I had to sell my car, get the van, and make a bed in the back of the van to travel because I couldn't sit up. I have rib cage
That's
issues,
smart though.
bone. Yeah, we had
Mm,
to.
yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I have bone pains so bad, and it's in my entire rib cage, my whole rib cage, every bone there, and it wraps around all the way around my back.
So you got the
And it's
same kind I do, the bone kind, where it's because I have
oh the
osteoporosis as well.
yes,
And
I have the osteoarthritis in my spine,
uh,
so I know where you're coming from. It's rough. It's really
yeah.
rough, but I haven't met anybody who has it like I do in my brain and in my eyes, nose, and mouth, my throat.
You should talk to your doctor about something that's called, now I can't say the name right, because when I pronounced it to my doctor, I didn't, he said it differently, but I met someone, they commented on one of my videos in the past and said that they have something called trigeminal neuralgia. I think I could be wrong on that, but it's
Yeah.
it's like RSD in the head, and your
Yeah.
whole face burns, and it's everything you're
Yes,
describing to me.
yes, yes.
I'll try to look it up and maybe send you info on it, but you could have that like with RSD at the same time.
Oh yeah.
It's
So
It's
crazy.
weird because like RSD is very multi-symptomatic of other things, and it's the great imitator. It's the
yeah,
great imitator of other pains.
yeah.
I read this the other day where like she was like where her ribs have been really bad in the last year and a half or so from her falls, but
Hmm.
also from RSD. She always had that sternum thing, and it feels like ribs are twisting and everything.
Uh,
So what it is is it imitates in it. when those nerves radiate, it radiates the organs and anything nearby in your body. So it's like something else might, it'll roll, it'll grow in the area, the patch it grows, whatever. It affects other things, and they call it the great imitator, and it made sense because it's like I think a lot of people get thrown off in diagnosis with doctors because they're like, it's according to your description because they're not seeing it. So you're trying to describe something, you describe it in an area, and they're like, they can't find it. And then it's just like, okay, that's 2 weeks of research going back and forth, thousands of dollars. Here we go, and then we got to go next and go keep going. And so, and like even like him saying, how am I ever going to know if I ever have a heart attack? Is it an RSD panic? You can't try to differentiate a lot of these feelings that you have because we have to guess.
That is such a great point.
Dystonia.
Dystonia in my chest wall. It's in my chest wall. So that affects a lot of nerves up in the upper body. So it affects my shoulder blades and my arms. Right. And there are times where it throbs so deep that I feel like I'm having a heart attack. And I said to him, how are we ever going to know if I have a heart attack or a stroke? I'm not going to know because of what I feel every day. Yeah. And the only reason I fall a lot is because my feet go totally numb, twist, and I wind up down on the ground, skinning my knees, elbows. Right. I was walking my dog, and nice day out. I have to be out in hot weather in the sun. That helps me. And I noticed that I take LDN, low dose naltrexone.
Okay.
Now, there's a difference, okay? Because a lot of people are like, do you have a drinking or drug problem? I'm like, no, let me finish.
I just had someone email me about that, actually, about Stanford's doing an actual study on that right now.
On the LDN.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, it gave me 6 years of great relief.
Wow.
And that's when I started walking and noticed that between the walking, the warmth of the sun, and the naltrexone was a good mix. So it was very difficult for me physically to get around. And I didn't tell my family anything. I kept it to myself because I wanted to get around twice and then tell them. Right. They had no clue what was going on. So the 6th month I was on it, and I was feeling pretty good, and I haven't driven in a very long time. So my van was in the garage, and I decided, I'm like, I want to get up and I want to go see our reservoir that was built because I never saw it. I was bedridden when they built it.
Okay.
And so 15 years later, I go there and I get up there and I'm like, wow, it's so beautiful. Everything was so bright, so green. Yeah. When I went into a store, it was like so clean and bright to me, like I'd never seen it before. And it was just so different. I see people walking their dogs, up on the reservoir. And I was like, I'm going to do this one day. Well, I wound up getting around for the first time. And then I was like, one more time, and then I'll tell them. Okay. So I did. And then I was so excited that I called him at work. And I said to him, I said, guess what I did? And he's like, what? I said, I walked around the reservoir twice. He's like, you did what? You did what? My daughter was like, what, Mom?
That's
so
that's great.
I wound up, it gave me such an adrenaline rush and made me feel so much better. Yeah. And knowing that I was trying to take care of myself the very best I could, even though I was still having difficulty, I got up to 10 miles a day.
Wow.
A day. Yes.
That is huge. I mean,
yes.
Huge.
And I met a lot of people, and they're my friends and everything. I haven't seen them in like 2 years because I haven't been able to walk.
Yeah.
And which really stinks because that was my outlet.
Yeah.
And I made some friends, and the one friend I made is like a dad. He's 71 years old. Oh, he keeps an eye out for me when I'm there. He doesn't let nobody bother me. Awesome. If there's a guy that bothers me, I tell him, and he takes care of it. So
that's awesome.
And he's a big dude. He's a big guy. He's an older man, but he's a big guy. And we walked together for many, many, many years. Aww. We did many miles together with our dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
So now he's a part of our family for 7 years, going on 8.
That's so rad.
He's awesome. Mm-hmm. He's different. And what else? What kind of word would I use for John?
But he's really good. He's
a good-hearted man. He really is.
He's helped us out because we have a small circle, and when you have a small
Yeah,
circle, you need everybody that
We don't
you
have
can
much family on the other side.
So it's like when you're dealing with doctors, and you got to be. Like, he's always been like a key part of helping us out and orchestrating sometimes
that's so cool.
visits, stuff like that. So for those people out there helping other people that need to go, it's a good thing. It's a real
Yeah,
good thing. 'Cause
I
it
have my own.
realize how you appreciate it.
I help a lot of
Yeah,
people. I help
it's
a
really
lot of
cool to
my
have people like that.
Yeah, I have neighbors
He's one of those
that
guys.
I help as much as possible because they're elderly.
Yeah.
And the one lady I took care of for 3 years, which was tough for me, but she had a stroke and a heart attack at the same
Oh,
time. So I saved her life twice.
wow.
And yeah, so
You
I was like
and her.
floored, that I had to do what I had to do because
Yeah.
I couldn't find her kids anywhere, and I had to make decisions for her at the hospital and stuff. It
Yeah.
was tough,
You
but
know, I think that's great because even though we need help, it's still cool to hear like
to
you're
help
still
someone
helping
else.
people, and I'm the same way. Like, the other it was a couple weeks ago. I walk out my front door because I go help my neighbor when she's at work. I let her dog out, and I saw across the street something that looked odd, and it was a man laying in the bushes, kind of next to the sidewalk, and his wheelchair was laying on its side. I'm like,
Oh God,
oh no, this guy needs help. And there's one lady standing with the cell phone.
right?
So I go over there, and luckily another neighbor came out, but the guy weighed well over 200 pounds. He was a pretty heavy guy, but he had uh, below the knee amputation, or no, above the knee amputation, sorry, on one leg. And it was a motorized chair that had to weigh at least,
Oh, a
150,
ton.
200 pounds. It was heavy. So getting that thing
Yeah.
upright was painful. And then me and one other guy lifted this man up into the chair, and that ruined me for the next day and a half because
I
I had
know
to
that
use such
feel.
strength in my leg. But
Yes,
it was so worth it because seeing that man laying there helpless like that, you
absolutely.
can't. I mean, people need help, and it was just crazy how many people were driving by, not even caring. There was
Right. No
just one other
matter.
person that stopped before I
Yeah.
went over there, and it's
Yeah.
sad,
No
people.
matter how hurt I am, I always try to help others, always, because I know that if the shoe was on the other foot, they would help me.
It
You know
comes
what I
back
mean?
around.
Without a
Yeah. Oh
doubt.
yeah.
We've had people in my life that made huge impacts that are no longer around. They moved to another state or they passed away. And it's really hard, because you get attached.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people need to remember with all of us with disabilities is that we're more than our disability, and there's
Yeah.
other
Right.
parts to our lives. My doctor said this, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but my doctor one time said to me, and I love my doctor. He is so amazing. He said to me, "You're not a chronic pain patient." He said, "You are somebody who has chronic pain, but there's more to you than just the chronic pain." He was listing off things, character traits and things about me that he
It's
knows, and
really
he's like, that's
cool.
who you are,
All right.
and that
Oh
meant a
yeah.
lot to hear, and we all need to remember that. It's really important
That's
that there's
very cool.
there's a lot more to us than just disability because we had a life
Right.
before that. And you know
Well,
Yeah.
my GP was so scared and so mad when I would tell him the response of the doctors. He took it in his own hands to try and help me, and he did. And he was just so scared because I was in such bad condition. I think that most of the doctors way down the past in the beginning probably thought I was just going to die, which I would have if it wasn't for my GP. And then my GP retired, and I got a call from the office because a new group took over, and I get a call from the office telling me they're not going to take care of me anymore, or they're not going to
oh
give me my medications anymore. I was devastated after all the years myself and my doctor worked together to get things down where I was living a somewhat normal life, not in so much pain. The
yeah,
burning was a little lower.
Yeah.
We worked really hard at it together. We did
it's
research together. Whatever I did, I gave him. He gave me what he found. You know what I mean?
that is so
And
frustrating,
oh, you don't even
just
know.
heartbreaking.
I sat there. I think I cried for days, and my doctor was wonderful. wonderful doctor, and he, oh, thank
That's
God he
kind
did.
of similar to what happened to me. Was that when I got in my motorcycle accident, I didn't have any insurance other than my motorcycle insurance. So I didn't have any health insurance. And
Right.
my surgeon, my orthopedic surgeon, basically told me I'll act as your GP, but I can't officially be that. So he wrote all my prescriptions and he took care of me. You know, I saw him regularly. And then I got my Social Security got approved and I got Medicare with that. So that at that point, he said, you have to get a doctor. And once I
Yeah.
did that, I picked the wrong doctor. Let's just say that. He's a young guy.
I
He's
can,
probably my age, maybe a couple of years older, and he's very judgmental. First time I
right.
saw him, all he would do, he wouldn't even look me in the eyes. He only looked at my tattoos. Because, you know, I got tattoos
Are you
all over.
kidding me?
And that's all
I
he
Oh,
have
would
a
look at.
I have a RSD tattoo on my leg.
I'm going to get one. I am eventually.
You deserve to get one. I got
Yeah,
two dragons. One's blowing fire, one's blowing ice.
that's cool. That's cool. I'll
So
do that
yeah,
for this video. I'll do that interview I have with the fire and ice. I don't know if you've seen that one on. I did on like a
I
couple
think I
videos.
did see it, but
yeah.
that
I'll
would
do
be
that
cool
one
to
for
see
you.
again. Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. But
Um,
yeah, so not having the right doctor, it will change your attitude.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it makes you feel low. And it's like I was to the point where I was so depressed that I was saying, aren't I worth saving? I have a family, you know what I mean? I have a daughter who depends on me. I have a husband of
Right.
30 years coming up in March, you know? And and with my daughter, I still made sure she got to where she had to be no matter how bad it was for me.
Yeah.
I didn't let her know that.
Yeah.
I just tried to carry out her life the best I could. And I think I filmed every single class that she ever did.
Oh, that's good.
And I had a parent say to me, "Oh, you'll get sick of it." I could never get sick of watching my daughter do what she does. She is an amazing woman. She really is.
Well, I wanted to bring something up I mentioned to you earlier before
That
we
is
started
so
filming.
funny.
But when I so when Kim first told me about her daughter, I did some research and because I wanted to see some of her boxing and or
There's a
kickboxing
new
martial
one.
arts stuff. But I found somewhere, I don't know how, but it was like a school
Is
paper
speech.
like assignment from like maybe sixth grade, I think it was. And
Yes.
they had to write down their goals through life, one through 20 or something like that, of like what you're gonna do in order
Right.
throughout your life. And it was like number, I don't know, it was like probably number 5 or 6 or something on there. Pretty, she said, cure RSD. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that is
Yeah.
so cool. And
I
that just
know.
shows she may not have known much about it, but
Hmm.
she still saw and knew mom was hurting.
Oh,
And
she
she wanted to
knows.
fix that. And I think
Yeah.
that's so sweet. And I thought that
I
was so
know. I can't believe that you found that. It's so funny because I know I have a copy of that somewhere.
Yeah.
really,
You know,
yeah.
I thought at first it was the speech when she was getting her black belt at Tiger Schulman's.
Yeah.
So,
I'll see if I can find it again somehow, and I'll
that's
send
okay.
it
If
to
you
you.
can't, you can. I know what you're talking about though, because I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Then she made, I think it was in sixth grade, she made this face, okay, on a board, and she carved it all out. She made the eyes really real. I mean, it's in my bathroom. I wish I could show it to you. People are like, "What the hell is that?" One side is fire. She used crepe paper colors for the fire. The other side has the ice, which is broken plates that are blue. And she
Wow,
glued all those on in school, and then she put the face in the middle,
that is
and
so
it shows burning in the eyes and what RSD does.
right,
And for her at that time to put something like that together, and
right.
when she brought that home, I was like, oh, I almost laughed at first because
Blown away.
the face is green, you know what I mean? And it's got a nose and it's got these big eyes that are got RSD in them, you know?
Yeah,
So it was just, I tried so hard not to laugh, but it was awesome, you know? And then she
yeah.
had done another painting and it was an eye and she did an eyeball. She did a great job. She can draw. And she's got a great way about her of doing these things, you know?
Yeah.
But now that she's older, she kind of doesn't want to talk about it, you know, much because it hurts her.
Yeah.
And my daughter's the type of person that if she's hurting and she's afraid she's going to lose someone, she'll kind of keep her distance. When you know what I mean, which I
Yeah.
understand, it hurts, but I understand.
It's a defense mechanism. Yeah.
Right, she's trying to help herself deal with that.
Yeah.
Now she's in the physical therapy realm too, and she's learning that people suffer, not just mom. That there's a
Yeah.
lot of other people out there. She saw everybody I helped. She's like, Mom, she's like, you need to have your own nursing home. She goes, you are spectacular at what you do. Because
Yeah.
that's what I used to do. I was going to school to become an LPN,
Okay.
and I got certified. I was
Oh,
so proud of myself.
wow. That's
And
cool.
then I had my accident, and it took everything away. You know,
Yeah.
I could no longer couldn't do it anymore.
I was right towards the end of culinary school for myself, and I was just 30 years old, and like life was starting to happen.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, really, RSD, really sucks.
Yeah.
And you have people out there that are so ignorant, and that's all it is ignorance.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, look it up because it can happen to you. What part of that
Yeah.
don't you understand?
Exactly. And
You got to put.
RSD, really stupid disease, right?
Hmm.
That's the
I
acronym for
kind
it.
of I kind of put myself in other people's shoes too, the way they have it, because I do understand fully how it works.
Mhm.
You know, I never try to minimize somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what's
I mean,
important.
I
It's
have
an
a huge,
invisible disease.
yeah,
Mm.
it is. It's actually an orphan's disease, and I don't know if you're aware of the National Pain Report. Do you get that?
I don't know.
Well, sign up for it. You will get emails every day. You'll get a new one.
Okay.
And there is a lot to be learned from them. Let me tell you, I save them all in a file because if
Okay.
I forget something, I'll go back to there
Yeah.
and I'll look up the articles.
Okay.
So there was an article the other day that I received that it was a big day for RSD because they were going to Washington to fight 500 orphans diseases that need to be treated, and ours is one of them.
Wow.
So I was just like blown away.
Okay.
And I know with Jim Broach,
Mm-hmm.
did you guys friend each other yet?
I haven't. No,
Because
I
I wrote
haven't heard
a
from him
letter.
yet.
I
I would
wrote a
love
letter.
to.
He
He's an amazing man. I've seen his
is.
work. I follow him on like Twitter
Yep.
and all that.
He was the
And my friend
first
Andrea
person.
knows him as well.
Yeah, he's the first person I called when I knew about him because I thought he could help me, and he did, and he's a wonderful man. I don't know how he makes it everywhere he makes it because he has it too.
He does a lot.
And
He
he does
does.
so much.
Yeah.
And I wish I could go to all those events, but I can't. I can't
Yeah.
travel like
Well,
that.
she met him
I.
once. So.
I got to finally meet him. My daughter and I did one
Oh,
walk to New
cool.
York. Yeah.
Mm.
Cool.
We got medals and everything.
That's
My
so
If it
cool.
wasn't for my daughter, I wouldn't have been happy that day because it was
Oh.
raining.
Oh God. Of
So
course.
and
That's
humid.
horrible.
Yep, when it's raining and humid, I'm down for the count.
They had to walk.
Worse.
They had to walk from Madison Square Garden to Central Park. So it's
Yeah,
like 15, 20 blocks. They had to walk in the rain,
just
and
to
then
get
do the walk,
there.
and then do the walk around Central Park.
Yep,
Around all
That's
day.
yep.
horrible.
Walk. Would we walk 15, 20 miles
Yeah,
at
they
least?
walked a
Oh,
lot. And
It
it was
jeez.
was,
early too.
we were dead, man. When we got back, we were like, wow. But
Miserable.
I was happy to do
But
it and I was
that.
proud.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's a very big accomplishment, something to be very proud of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially with my daughter by my side doing it with me,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
That
cool.
was really special for me.
It is. It
So
is.
I
That's
want to go to more, and I want to be able to walk, you know what I mean? I don't want to ride, I want to walk.
yeah.
So,
I want to
it's
try to make it
okay.
to the next convention. I missed the one that was recently this past year. I think in Oregon, um,
Yes.
or Colorado, Denver. It was in Denver, and
There's so many of them.
I found out about it last minute. The one that was in Denver was the one that I think Jim Broach actually put on by RSDSA.
Hmm.
So, and I knew a few people that went to it. Well, a couple, two people, and they're both from the channel. And I didn't get to go, but I told them each that I knew they both were going, and so they actually were able to meet up and say hi to each other. You know,
That's
just
cool.
like a little triangle. You know, I got them to meet up. It was cool. So
Yes.
Yeah, Jim Ross is awesome. He, like I said, I don't know how the man does what he does, but I appreciate him so much and all his hard work. And I know I could call him anytime because he'll pick up the phone and I'll say Jim. He'll be like Kim, and I'm like, it just makes me feel good,
that's cool. That's so
So
awesome.
I've known him for
15 years. So.
probably 15 years.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I mean, we don't talk every day, but we do communicate a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus, I have him on the back of my van. So
Oh,
I made
really?
darn sure of that. Yes.
That,
He's on
I
the
didn't
back.
see that part. I'll have to see that.
It says rsdsa.org.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay,
But
I did see that.
I'm definitely gonna put his name on my van anyway. I just
Yeah.
have to put the letters to do it.
Yeah.
So that's coming next.
That's
So
cool.
but he thought it was really cool. And then when the magazine came through, he's like, finally. I was like,
excited,
I know, he was all excited for me. And I just couldn't believe it. When they came to my house in a box, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I had hundreds of them.
Maybe I'll make my vehicle be the rate your pain 1 to 10 vehicle and deck it all
Yeah.
out with my.
Well, hey, why not? Why not do it? My car was red. It happened to be red.
Yeah,
And
so
it was either do Dale Earnhart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. or do RSD. RSD is more important to advertise than anything else.
Just a little bit.
Right. It's big.
Then
And
NASCAR.
I can advertise NASCAR elsewhere. My whole house is sports.
Yeah.
Sports and music. My bedroom is Dallas Cowboys. My living room and my little dining room is all racing, race cars. Pictures of them. I have pictures. Freddie Mercury is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Garth Brooks is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And
I have
them
like
all.
Garth Brooks.
Absolutely.
Your YouTube name.
Absolutely. What's not to like about those thighs? No, more
I
kidding.
grew up on Garth Brooks. I love that man.
I love him.
All of his songs are hits.
Well, I'm going to let out a little secret. They have this thing called Jamie's Dream. And I wrote to them because my biggest thing that I want to do before anything happens to me is to meet Garth Brooks and to sit down and tell him how he impacted my life with his music. And the one song that he sings is called Standing Outside the Fire. He took me to the concert a couple of years ago, and he was just like so small, but you saw him on the screen. We had this big green neon board that said, ask me why I'm standing inside the fire. Please ask me. But you really can't.
Far,
you know
no
what I
one can
mean?
see it,
Yeah, that's too
you hold
bad.
up the sign and you hope the camera pans around you and you're like, ah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what's in my bucket list. Yeah, I don't have much in my bucket list, but he's number one.
Yeah.
So I wrote to them. I sent them a photo of when I'm sick. I sent them one of when I'm well. And I had to do a whole bunch of paperwork and running around to get this done. So 2 weeks ago, I found out that they couldn't do it for me because they lost their contact with Garth. So now I got to find a different avenue.
Oh,
because I have no doubt that if they still had the connection, I would have met him.
Yeah.
That's my biggest dream. Because I can't meet Freddie Mercury, so I want to meet Garth.
I'll put some feelers out there too, because I know some people, and like there's some crazy stuff that might be happening on this channel in the future that I don't want to say because I don't want to get anyone excited, but like there's a couple different celebrities that might come on. I'm too nervous to really make it happen.
I know.
One of them I can bring on. I already got his contact info and he said he would do it, but I'm too nervous. So I'm waiting till I get a little better, maybe till I talk to him. And then Andrea, who came on, she's trying to get another celebrity who I'm not going to say, but she's trying to get another celebrity who has RSD to come on the channel. And I'm like, you're making me nervous. I'm starting to sweat even thinking about it.
Would that happen to be a football player?
No.
Okay. Because we had a guy come back to Dallas who has RSD in his leg, and he was gone for quite some time. He was bedridden like I was, and finding that out when he came back, I was blown away. I was just like, oh my God. And he's going
Man,
to play football.
Yeah.
He's out of
with
his
it,
mind.
good luck,
Yes.
buddy. You
Yes.
could do it.
But
That is just amazing.
yeah,
And I
it
would love to
is.
talk to him.
Me
Yeah.
too. But, I, as far as celebrities are concerned, that would be awesome if we could get them involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need somebody big. You know what I mean? We need
Right.
somebody who's going to support us.
Well, the
And you
one
have
that
more.
I have the contact for and that I heard he said he would do it is
Mhm.
actually Bob Marley's nephew.
Oh, well,
His name's Charles Maddox, and
yes,
he's the one who
yes.
did Trial by
No,
Fire.
yes.
So, um, I mean, from what I was told, he said he's willing to come on.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
And I
That's
have his
cool.
email to talk to him, but it's like that makes me big, that makes me very nervous because I've always been a huge Bob Marley fan, even though that's not what this is
Right,
about. But Bob
right.
Marley is like one of my all-time favorites. You know what I mean? I,
Hmm.
I grew up in Santa Cruz most of my life. I lived in Arizona for a while, but like in Santa Cruz, Bob Marley is just a big part of our culture here. And to know what he did for his mother, Bob Marley's sister,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
because she has RSD, and it's just amazing what he did. And I'm sure you've seen the documentary.
Yeah, I did. I actually sent it to you because I didn't know if you saw it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did send it to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh, that's
wasn't
right.
sure.
Oh
I
yeah, so
wasn't
I
sure if
know
you
of
saw
it.
it. Yeah, it was
So,
pretty awesome that he did that, and I'm so happy that you have that chance. And you know what you have to do. You just got to do it.
you're right.
You just
It's just like
schedule
I was
it,
saying about just press record. You're right. I do. Okay.
schedule it,
I'll
and do
email.
it because you do fine. You do fine.
Uh,
You don't realize how good you really do.
it's
It's
nerve
hard to
wracking.
speak. Sure. I can't imagine the stress that you're under when people come on. It's got to be nerve wracking.
But the more higher profile people you get, that might bring in more higher profile people.
That
So
is
Yes.
very true, and that is kind of the purpose, spread awareness as much as possible. So I mean, that is a point. I just like when I had Dr. Leveroni on, the audio
Mhm.
was super messed up. So I wasn't ready for that one. It just kind of happened sooner than I wanted, really. Um,
Right.
but it got me to fix. I bought this mic that corrected it, and like, I, I it basically made me up my sound system. I
yeah,
made a
yeah,
big purchase,
Right.
so now I could do it, and I won't have to worry about the audio anymore. But like, so yeah, I just want to make sure it's good, mostly.
yeah,
But
You're fine. You're fine. I like your graphics in the background. I
yeah.
like the
thank
one with
you.
the wings. The wings
Thanks.
are really cool. I love that.
I mean,
Oh
if
yeah, I
someone,
haven't done those in a while.
yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's like if anybody agrees, someone who like what's his name? Marley's what is this? His nephew?
Charles.
What's his name? Charles.
Charles.
I mean, if he's agreeing to see it, I mean, he there's a good reason why he would want to see someone like you. I mean, even you're not CBS, you're not NBC,
Right.
so I think he feels it's important to get more into the real group of people that are on YouTube and people that use this type of media more than ever now. So it's
Yeah.
almost like it's almost as mainstream as CBS anymore because people really don't
That's
watch that anymore. So, but I think a guy like that or anybody like that, they see you as important enough. If they feel that you're important enough to show up, you better be ready to accept them.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's a good point. I appreciate that.
you
That's
just
good.
have to schedule it and just do
That's
it
what I'm
like you
saying.
do with everybody
Because then when
else.
the time goes by, this time next year, they're on tour. You're not going to be able to see them.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
oh
That's a
no,
good point.
that window of time.
I haven't put it off for a while, so you're right. It is time. It is.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Because I need to hear these things. I really do.
Of course you do. Everybody does.
So
We all
you're
need
right.
that boost. We all need that kick in the butt sometimes
It's
and
hard enough to get the
a
attention.
boost.
It's hard enough to get the attention as it is. When the
Yeah.
attention is, when they're giving you that attention, you better just bring it in.
I thought I knew everything about RSD. I really did.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff that I did. I mean, the reading. Oh my God, that's all I do is read, type, and answer questions, and
Yeah.
respond to reports. And I tried to get into a trial, and they wouldn't accept me because they wanted somebody who had it in one or two limbs, not full body. I was
I
like,
mean,
really? I'm the
that's
perfect
weird.
candidate. Exactly. I was so hurt. I was like, are you kidding me? I have a full body. It's bad. It's really
Isn't
bad.
isn't that the same thing as two limbs?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
And
two
then,
limbs plus she got a bonus.
right.
I
It's my
mean,
body,
that's
my
that's bizarre.
brain and everything. Well,
Yeah,
that's
the thing is though, like you said, how you said you thought you knew everything about it. The truth
Yeah.
is, it's always changing and there's always news coming out. There's always some new development, new learning, and that's what's great because, and why I tell people never give up because I've talked to a few people that are like, I'm done. I'm not trying any
right.
treatments anymore. And I'm like,
Right.
don't say that because you never know what may come out tomorrow. And
You're right.
another person I had on here once, we were talking about how, 10 years ago or whatnot, what they knew then versus what they know now. They thought
Right.
that certain things back then wasn't possible that now they're doing today with complete success. So you
Right.
never know. Um,
Well, my
and
mom
yeah,
said the same thing to me when I told her I just wanted to give up, because I tried everything, did everything, saw every doctor, did everything I possibly could, had every block that you can imagine, therapy, you name it, I did it all. And I still go to counseling until this day. And because, the physical, first off, some people want to assume that it's mental. It's
right.
not, it's physical first that feeds into the mental.
Hmm.
And you cannot stop. You can't stop thinking what you're thinking, even though it's depression or you're scared because it's very real and it could kill you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It
yeah.
can kill you.
I
I
had someone
mean,
comment on one of my videos, and I don't know, I can't remember what video it was, but he said he's cured. And I said, that's great.
yeah,
What cured you? And he responded like a month or so later, and he said, it's all psychological. And that with changing the way you think and all this, blah, 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 that it could cure you. And I didn't even respond back. If he watches
right.
this, I'm telling you right now, bro, that's a joke. I'm sorry,
It
but there's
is.
no
You're right.
way it could be only strictly psychological. And if that's
Exactly.
true, he didn't have RSD. That's
That's
Right.
right.
or he did,
I
it went
I was just
away because some people are lucky and it goes away.
Yeah.
That does happen.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm not doubting that that could be the case,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but for him to just put a blanket over it saying it's all psychological is not fair to all of us who do have
Right.
to live with it our whole life because let me
Right.
tell you, that's not the case. So
Yeah.
Right. And we do try to change our internal dialogue on how we think, but it's very hard when you're suffering like we do.
Yeah.
it is.
People don't know what it's like to have an internal furnace that never shuts off, where your body temperature doesn't run on its own, where people can't touch your skin. My husband can't kiss my face, or my daughter can't kiss my face. They kiss me on the nose or my ear, at times.
Yeah.
And just a hug of his body heat makes me heat up even more and sweat even more,
Mm.
so
Right.
I have a huge problem with the sweating. I
Yeah.
mean, I wake up at least twice a night soaked. I mean, soaking wet.
Um, I started taking nortriptyline and that helped.
uh,
Um, so I mean
Nortriptyline.
that's a
Elavil?
multi-use drug, really. I'm sorry.
Is that like Elavil?
I'm not sure of that one. Another name is Pamelor, I think.
Okay, yes,
I think
yes.
that's the other name, but it's a multi-use drug, really. It helps with neurological nerve pain. It's
Hmm.
an antidepressant. Um, it's supposed to be a little bit of like a mood elevator.
Mm.
Uh, and it helps with sweating. And I not so much anymore, but I used to get really bad night terrors,
Uh-huh.
and that kind of helped with it too. So
I used to wake up either hitting him or screaming, because I guess the accident traumatized me so badly,
yeah,
that you don't realize when you're dreaming and it's coming out in your dream. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're actually doing this, you don't
yeah.
know. And it's like he'll get up in the morning and not hear me get up, and I have no idea that I'm walking and sleeping at the same time,
Oh wow.
which is dangerous,
Yeah, I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid. Thankfully, not as an adult. But I
Yeah.
have um you know, we get the sleep paralysis, right?
Right.
I don't get that as much as other people, kind of like you're saying. Like, you know, when you're in a dream and you try to yell or punch someone and it's in slow
Yeah.
motion or you can't do it.
Oh,
Oh, I
right.
get
Not
that.
me. My dreams, I mean,
Boom.
not so bad anymore. They were very violent. I was at war. Literally, I was at war at times, like with having
Wow.
gunfights, knife fights, personal knife
Wow.
fights, and then very vocal. And my wife would wake me up because, especially in the summertime when all the windows are open, I'd be
Right.
screaming crazy obscenities, right? Like I'm not even gonna say half the words I said, but you
Serious.
use your
I
imagination.
know.
You think
Hmm.
about it, I probably said it. Um,
Hmm.
and you know, my wife is like, our neighbors are gonna think we're fighting at 3 a.m. or
Yeah.
something. Like so, and it comes out very clear. That's the thing too, is like other people when they try to talk in their sleep, no,
Yeah,
me, it's
right.
right on point. Well, hey, we should probably get wrapping it up. I might make this a two-parter. You know, we might make
That's
two little
fine.
episodes out of it. Um,
Sounds
but I'll be don't hang up yet because I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit after the recording here.
okay.
But I want to thank you for coming on, both of you. You
Sure.
guys gave us lots of great insight. Thank you, David. I really appreciate your perspective as well, coming from the husband who, you know, doesn't have it but has to help his wife. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that. I would like to have more of these type of interviews. You know, I think that's
that'll be
great.
great.
Yeah, yeah. I
Anytime.
mean, anybody that has that's fortunate to have still have be in a relationship and have this like you
Yeah,
are. And of course, it's great, but it's great to have that person have an understanding with that person that when you do have that bad day, that okay, yes, I am sorry about it, but you got to understand that the condition is really
Well, the thing too
dictating
is,
what you're doing a
the
lot.
thing
yeah,
too is when you meet other RSDers or you see someone like you think to yourself, gee, if I'm really that down and out, I know I could pick up the phone or text you or call you or email you and that you're there. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I know you'll get back to me when you can, so don't hurry up and rush.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can wait.
I try to be as fast as possible. You
I
know.
know,
yeah,
but
well,
maybe don't be so hard with that because
yeah,
that,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
It'll
I do
stress you
beat
out
myself
more.
up sometimes.
Yeah, and you shouldn't because you're very good at what you're doing. And I'm so, so proud to see
yeah. I
you
mean,
doing
it's just
this.
your own
Thank you.
time. You put a lot of your own time into
Yeah,
this.
a
You're
lot of
not.
effort.
I mean, it's not like you're getting a paycheck for this, right? So
No.
you're
Right.
it's your own time, your own money,
Yeah.
and hopefully maybe you'll get some sponsorship to help you out to get things going better,
Down the road,
uh,
maybe.
maybe, and get bigger guests that maybe will attract some sponsorship and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll roll better.
Well,
Right.
But
I'm one of your biggest supporters, and
yeah,
I always
Thank
will
you.
be, and I
Thank
will
you
not
so
let
much.
you give up. I
no,
can't give up. You can't give up.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
You
You got it.
know.
That's
I
a
mean,
deal.
anytime you want to talk,
yeah.
I'm always available. If
Thank
I don't
you.
get back to you right away, I'll get back to you. So,
Hey, it's the same way, you know, like I understand. And that's what's cool about all of us. You know, we get it. We understand that we can't always be right, you know, on the
mhm.
moment when we need, like we're down and out a lot. And we
Yes, we
might be
are.
having to sleep it off all day. You never know.
Yeah. Well,
So
I found myself taking naps more often than I ever have in my entire life.
me too.
Yeah.
you
Fact,
know,
I don't get up to like easily 11 o'clock, 12 nowadays
that's
because
I'm like that. I'm
uh,
like that too.
Yeah.
You know what too? For me, it's hard to stay in bed that long because when I do get up, I already start to feel myself swell. I have full body swelling.
yep.
So it's very difficult because your face gets so tight. The
You
only
gotta
good thing
move.
about the swelling of the face is you can't see all my wrinkles.
Yeah, hey, there's a plus side.
So that's the only plus of
You
swelling in your
sound like
face.
my wife. That's something she would
I
say.
That's a woman thing to say, right?
don't have to go to Botox. I'm
Yeah.
52 years
Actual
old,
bull
okay?
tags.
There
I'm
you
52
go.
and nobody can ever guess that. Nobody
Oh,
believes that I'm 52 years old.
Yeah.
right,
And I'm
right.
like, well, that's RSD. I'm sorry. I can't help
Yeah.
that.
Natural blush too, right? When you
Is
get
it?
there.
Am I blushing? I
Yeah.
get really red. I do. Like my ears get red. Everything gets red. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's crazy.
So where do you live in Santa Cruz? You said.
Santa Cruz. It's in the top of the Monterey Bay uh
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about an hour drive
About
south of
right.
San Francisco.
Okay.
So just right on the middle, basically, coastline of California.
Are you
Middle coast. Yeah.
near? Are you near the area where that virus is coming out?
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, that's what's scary is I just read this morning that they found 2 cases in Santa Clara, which is only a half-hour drive away. So
well, we
that's
had one in New Jersey who passed away from it. It scares me because we're sick as it is, and
yeah.
anything that we catch, it takes time for us to heal.
Well,
We
kind of.
don't heal like normal people.
It kind of makes sense in California. You got a lot of Asian people flying in there, so
Exactly.
a
Especially
lot
like
of
San
Asian
Francisco
tourists,
area.
big
That's
tourists. Yeah, a
scary.
lot of tourism and a lot of business Asian
They're
people.
saying that it's going to hit the United States, but they're not sure how hard it's going to be. You don't
Yeah.
have to walk around with a face mask. You know what I mean? You
Right.
just, if you're
Well,
not well,
the
go to your
scary
doctor.
the thing that's making it scary about it being the United States is that it's unknown origin. The
Right.
people they're fighting with it, they don't know where they got it from because they haven't been in contact with anybody from
Exactly.
China that's traveled or whatnot. And that's what's making it a scary thing because you need to be able to track it down. And they said
Right.
that as it is right now on the world level, it's right below a pandemic. And
Right.
that's
Right.
that's a scary thought. But
It
they just found
is.
today too, someone died in Washington state from it. So that's
Mhm.
pretty close to us.
Yes.
It's a scary thing, like you said, when you have RSD, like we don't go out as much, so our immunity isn't as
Right.
great.
My daughter, she works with a lot of people, and so does my husband at work, and they bring stuff home, and I get it.
All
Yeah.
right.
So since last summer, back to back, I've been getting everything, and it's very hard to recover. And when you're sick, if you have a fever, you don't know because you're so hot inside and burning anyway.
Mm,
You don't
Yep.
know. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I'll quarantine myself in my home because I don't want to get sick. It's
mm,
flu season.
Yep.
Even though I had a flu shot, I'm still scared to go out and touch anything.
Yeah.
So if I have to go out, I wear mittens on my hands.
mm,
You know what I
Especially to
mean?
the doctors.
Right.
mm.
And another
You have
thing
any
too, I wanted to let people know if you have difficulty with the professionals believing in you or trying to help you, don't ever go to an appointment alone, ever. My doctor told me that and drilled it in my head. Don't you ever go alone again,
up?
because it's a different interview than if you had a loved one sitting there with you or a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? They treat you differently. You have no proof. You know what I mean? It's just
I
hearsay.
always bring my wife, and if you watch the video
Yes.
that I had her on, we even talk
Hmm.
about that.
I did see that.
It's
And,
important.
our memories aren't good either.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My memory is,
100%. My
my
wife tells me
memories.
things that were said, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
When did he say
Yep.
that?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll be in a conversation with somebody and forget what I was saying, totally forget. They can try and remind me, and I'm still not able to function to get it back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes hours to remember. And finally, it comes to you, and it's like too late.
Yeah. Well, in the
Yeah.
doctor's office, in the doctor's visit, it's always better to have that second set of ears because if you're talking, most likely you're not listening as well as you're talking. So that's when
Mhm.
the other person has to listen. Because if the other doctor's talking at the same time as, say, she's talking and doctor talking together, if they're both talking together and say, it's interacting, but if I'm on the side, I'll catch something that maybe she'll didn't realize he said, and sometimes that's very key. You'll miss something that
There's
might be
also
crucial. So,
Very true.
there's
Very
also
true.
yeah.
there's also a few things I want to share with people who do have it. They do make arm warmers. You know what leg warmers look like from the
Yeah.
80s?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
They're coming
they
back.
make yep, they are, because I have them all. I have every color. Okay, I have them because if I want to wear a short sleeve shirt, I can't have my arms out because just the air hitting them makes them burn.
Right.
Or if I back up into a cold wall and the back of my arm hits the cold wall, it'll
Mhm.
my reflex will punch out.
Yeah.
So I almost punched him in the hallway doing that.
Uh,
But there are arm warmers, and they are great because they have the thumb where it holds onto your
oh
thumb,
yeah.
covers
Yeah.
your hands. So you're not getting burned. Like, people don't realize that if they lean on a counter, they think nothing of it. If I was to lean on a counter, I'm being branded and burned.
Yeah.
And I feel that in that area for at least 5 minutes for it to go
Right.
away.
Right.
So it's rough. You have, as far as like bed stuff, I don't have sheets. Sheets are very cold and they burn me. So
Yeah.
I have all these really soft plush blankets that we use instead of
Velour and
sheets.
stuff like that. Yeah.
The softest material you can find.
I use
The-
flannel sheets actually
That's
Oh,
a
that's
good
because they're
one
great.
not
too.
like regular sheets.
Yeah.
Right. See, I can't really use the flannel because I sweat so much.
Yeah.
So it makes me sweat even more.
Sometimes I
But
just use the flannel only because it's
yeah,
like, yeah.
but
That's all you need.
there's a lot of little things that I found, like my clothing. I couldn't wear my clothing for 10 years. I mean, because it hurts your skin.
It, I've actually talked to other people on Facebook about that, asking like, what do I do when it's cold out? Because I want to
Right.
wear pants, but it hurts.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. And there's
Soft pajamas.
they have leggings, or um they have special pants that you could buy that have the lining inside that are furry. I know in the summer it's tough, but I see people walking out with short sleeves and I'm like, I can't do that unless I cover up.
Yeah.
But
And bes-
losing your wardrobe as a woman and being able to take care of yourself like I did with myself and try so hard to still do is devastating. You know,
Right. It is. I've heard that a lot with women, and I've talked to. There's another one, Christine, that I talked to. I think she was mentioning
yes,
it to me about um, not being able to wear the shoes she likes to wear.
exactly.
And
Yep.
so
No matter what shoe I wear, my feet still twist. I mean, he's got to jam on the brakes and pull over fast
yeah,
because I'm flicking off shoes. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And we're in a parking lot, like I said before, you could probably about 15, 20 minutes of time.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens often, like in the house. I'll be walking around and all of a sudden lose my footing because it went numb and
Yeah.
down I go. So
Yeah, it's like a Charlie horse. It's
but
like the worst
there
Charlie horse
but
you
there
get.
are things and ways you can get around that stuff. Put soft blankets on your bed instead of sheets, wear soft robes around your house if you don't want to get dressed, or put
right.
clothing on.
There you go.
Pajamas. I'll tell you, there's some very fashionable pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
And I see people wear pajamas every day. And it's,
I like to
people
get
don't
dressed
think of
up.
anything about it anymore. You just
Yeah.
walk out to the store, and
Yeah.
you're comfortable, and they're soft.
Yeah.
But I like
So-
to dress. I like to dress up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of those people who like to dress up and look nice.
Yeah.
So when I go out, I do my very best. I
Mhm.
do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to have the stamina to sit at my desk and to do my hair and to do my makeup, by the time I'm done, I am done.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Right.
So, like I said to my husband, it don't make sense if I'm not going anywhere because I was the type of person what wouldn't go to the mailbox without my hair and makeup. You know what I mean? So, but now that, not that I don't take care of myself, but it's changed because I just
Yeah.
don't have it in me,
It's tiring.
But this has been great, by the way.
Yeah. It
I'm
has. Thank you
so
for
happy
being
to
on.
meet you
Yeah,
and
so cool.
talk with you. And if you ever have any questions, we could talk anytime you want. We could Skype anytime you want. I'm there.
Same
Yeah.
here.
We can get
I
together
appreciate
somehow.
you doing this, coming on, doing this video, and we we could talk anytime. It doesn't have to be for the channel. And if you ever want to come back on the channel too, you're always more than welcome. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm honored. I am.
Yeah,
I'm very
no doubt.
honored. You made my day.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
And I
Well-
look forward to seeing more of your videos. I love them.
There's more coming. I got some good
I
stuff
can't
on the
wait.
way. All
That's
right.
great.
Well, thank you
I'm so
guys for
happy.
coming on. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Sure.
And
Everybody
everyone, don't
be
forget
well.
to smash that like button. Say thank you to
Yep.
these two beautiful people for coming on. All
Thank
right.
you.
Until next time.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.
Okay.
Peace
Peace.
out.